You are a total muck-up, Tabitha.
Look at all the times you failed the dark side. Ow! I'm melting, Jimmy! You're gonna die! Give a little credit where it's due, will you? I've had loads of success along the way as well. But look at all the havoc I've created just this very day. Take Sheridan Crane, for example. She's stuck with the wrong Lopez Fitzgerald brother for the rest of her life. That alone warrants the return of my evil powers. There's Pilar, the long-suffering madre. She's in agony because her son is dying. So, not only have I Luis and Sheridan in pain, but I also have her and the rest of her brood all miserable as well. Doesn't that count for something? And there's Luis and Beth. Only Beth's mother knows just how far her scheming daughter will go to snare the super hunk. And then there are the picture-perfect Russells. And the holier-than-thou Bennets. Well, Sam and Grace are an absolute mess. While Kay's revelation about Ivy is going to bring David and Eve down as well. And as if that isn't enough, Eve's very own sister is taking revenge and trying to seduce TC even as we speak. Well, I think I deserve to have my powers returned for all of the misery and mayhem I've caused.
I'm not Eve. But I think I'm close enough as a sister she never told you about. To fool you into thinking that I am. But don't worry. It's not as if I'm cheating on her. By the time you realize that you've been tricked, you have made love to me tonight. You won't discover what you've done until it doesn't matter anymore. Your beloved wife will be exposed as the lying trash she always was. My sister took away what I valued most. My faith. Now it's my turn to take away what she values most.
You performed the DNA test yourself, didn't you, Eve? I mean, you're the one who said that John was Grace's biological son. I know. Well, you don't honestly think your best friend would rig the test? You don't think she'd lie to you about something like that, do you, Grace?
Eve.
Need I remind you of what I can do to you if you refuse? I will tell TC all about your sordid affair with Julian. About the baby you had with Julian. The baby that died, most likely because of your drug use.
You are so hateful.
Your image, your name will be dragged through the mud. Dr. Russell. Your husband, your daughters, this entire town will see you for the slut that you really are. You are going to do exactly what I tell you to do, Eve. You are going to change those DNA test results, or I will ruin your life.
Grace, it's really quite simple. If Kay is right, if David and I are trying to tear apart Sam and Grace, if I brought David to town for the sole purpose of portraying your first husband, then John can't be your son. But He is your son. We know that from the DNA test. So how do you explain that, Kay?
Well, I can't. But I know what I know. Something must have been wrong with the tests.
Well, I think that's highly unlikely. As I recall, Dr. Russell checked and rechecked the results.
Well, then they were dummied up somehow.
Well, I don't see how that's possible. When Dr. Russell was in charge of the tests from start to finish. I mean, surely you're not accusing your mother's dearest friend of being David's and my accomplice. Or are you? Are you accusing Eve of falsifying medical records when she knew that by doing so it would destroy your parents' marriage?
Mother was walking around just a little while ago. How could her condition have deteriorated so quickly?
Oh, no, you don't.
The doctor, please, Robin. Doctor.
If you want it so badly, come and get it. Oop. I told you that I would not let anything come between me and Luis. Not Sheridan, not Antonio, and certainly not you. That's what's so upsetting, that she could seem to be recuperating one minute and then have a setback like this the next. Luis, I really appreciate you being here with me, but I'll be all right by myself. I know you have a lot on your mind, your brother and Sheridan.
Beth, I'll go see Antonio in a little while, okay? But I meant what I said. Sheridan and I are over. She decided to marry Antonio and she's committed to him. That's not going to change.
Well, I'm sure you both believe that right now. But I can't help think the worst case scenario.
You mean if the experimental drug doesn't work and Antonio remains in a coma?
Exactly. I mean, if he's unaware of his surroundings for the rest of his life, which could go on for years, he wouldn't know that you and Sheridan were together.
And Beth, Sheridan and I already decided we would never be together behind Antonio's back, no matter what his condition is. Look, I'm here for you, okay? No matter what happens to Antonio or to your mother. Okay? In fact, I think it's a good time for us to talk about our future.
I want you to know, no matter what happens, I won't break my marriage vows to Antonio.
Even though your heart is with Luis?
Luis and I talked. He said that he couldn't live with himself if he were to betray his brother's trust. Just hope that I'm strong enough to give Antonio the love he needs and deserves.
Sheridan, you will summon the strength and courage you need to do what you have to do, the same way I did.
What if I'm not as brave as you are? What if I let Antonio down? What if I can't stop myself from being disloyal to my husband by loving Luis?
I would hold the hand of the one who could lead me places and kiss the lips of the one who could sing so sweet. And I would fly on the wings of a bird I knew could take me high as breathe in, breathe out. You keep me alive. You are the fire burning inside of me. You are my passion for
Go ahead, mock me if you will. Personally, I think I've done a brilliant job destroying all my neighbors' lives.
Do you now? We think you botched things royally. Take tonight, for instance. You were incredibly careless.
I'm not hallucinating. Tabitha's definitely a witch.
So, I didn't have the blinds drawn, and Kay Bennett caught me in the act. But she's forgotten all about that now. She's far too busy nailing David and Ivy as the home wreckers.
For the moment, perhaps. Who knows what she'll do in the future?
You know, I am getting sick and tired of being underappreciated. Now, do I or do I not get my powers back?
Not now, anyway. For the time being, all you'll get from us is a helper.
I told you, I don't want a damn helper. Who are you talking about, anyway?
I don't know how to explain John's DNA test results, but I know what I know. David and Ivy were in the park talking about destroying your marriage.
Look, Kay, I don't know Mrs. Crane very well, but I do know my father. He would never be a part of anything like this.
Well, I'm sorry, Johnny boy, but he was, and still is. Hey, look on the bright side. At least you're not my half-brother anymore.
Damn it, Kay!
Calm down, Huck. Kay doesn't know what she's saying.
Yes, I do.
Maybe we should get out of here. Let them work this out.
I'm not going anywhere until Kay apologizes for bad-mouthing my father.
Well, you may have a long wait, dear, considering the lengths that Kay has gone to vilify your father and me.
I'll stay here forever, if that's how long it takes to clear my father's name.
Back to the question at hand. If Kay is right, and David and I are guilty, then your mother's oldest and dearest friend must be too. Now, are you really saying that a respected physician would risk her medical license, her entire reputation, to help me? It's just not very logical.
I'm sorry, honey, but I have to agree with Ivy. I know Eve as well as I know myself, and she would never betray us like that.
Well, I'm not accusing Dr. Russell of doing anything. All I'm trying to tell you guys is what I heard in the park.
Look, I'm afraid they're right, sweetheart. Without Eve's cooperation, there's no way Ivy or David could have fixed John's DNA results.
Dad, you said you believed me.
I do. I'm just saying there's no way that Eve could have been a part of this.
How dare you drag me into your mess, Ivy?
Oh, please, did you honestly think I would go down alone without taking you with me? You're my ace in the hole. I can't be guilty if you aren't.
Damn you.
Save your breath. If I were you, I'd be on my way home to check on my husband.
What do you mean by that?
I warned you. I saw the way that Liz woman was looking at TC. I think she shares your taste in men.
I think you should mind your own business, Ivy.
Mind yours, Eve. Or you might just lose that handsome hubby of yours.
You are so beautiful. What did a man like me ever do to deserve a woman like you?
I'm the lucky one, TC. You'll be dreaming about me once you hear what your beloved wife is really like.
You want to talk to me about the future now?
Yeah, it just seems like a good idea considering everything that's happened in the last 24 hours.
Fine. It just seems that the future's all we've talked about lately. Getting engaged, getting unengaged, standing at the altar together, not standing at the altar together. What could there possibly be left to talk about.
Well, I'm really sorry for everything that I put you through.
You have nothing to apologize for, Luis. Everything that I did was because I wanted to. Besides, it's not like the last few months have been a walk in the park for you either.
No, they haven't.
So, what is it you feel you need to talk to me about?
Sheridan, don't make me out to be some kind of saint. I'm not. I'm as human as you are.
But when you lost the love of your life, your husband, you didn't let it crush you. You picked yourself up and you went on, and you raised a beautiful family single-handedly.
I had the love of my children to keep me strong. That and the hope that one day Martin would come home to me. I just knew that I had to keep myself together for him.
See, it's different for me. The experimental drug doesn't work. I could lose Antonio forever. If not by dying, then by going into a coma for the rest of his life.
At least he would be alive. Sheridan, you will have more to hold on to than I did, because at least you would know where your husband was. Unless it's not Antonio you're worried about losing.
I love Antonio. I really do. But you know, he's not the love of my life. Luis is. If Antonio slips into a coma, how can I stay true to him and give up Luis?
Isn't it possible that you were mistaken that night in the park?
Couldn't it have been two people who just sounded like David and Ivy?
No! It couldn't have. I saw them with my own eyes. It was David and Ivy, and they were talking about destroying your marriage.
What she's saying is what I believed all along. I never bought David's story about being your first husband.
But I know that John is my son, and you know it too. We learned that from the DNA tests. Unless you're accusing Eve of an unspeakable betrayal.
Of course not.
Well, good. Because I know my friend would lay down her life before she would hurt me. I know that as well as I know myself.
Thanks, Grace. Don't be silly.
Well, I'm glad to see that Sam and Grace are standing up for you.
So am I, but for how long? No matter how it resolves tonight, Sam's not going to let this go.
I wouldn't expect him to. He's going to keep digging until he finds out the truth.
And that means there's nothing for me to do than just to go home and tell TC everything. About Julian, Ivy's blackmail, the whole sordid story.
She said you couldn't do that.
Oh, what other choice do I have? I don't have any chance of keeping my husband except to tell him everything myself before somebody else tells him first. Maybe I can make him understand.
Good luck.
Eve, could you examine Kay now?
I don't need to be examined. I'm fine.
I think when she was out in the storm and fell and hit her head, she could have gotten a concussion. I mean, that would explain her irrational behavior.
I am not being irrational! I am just trying to tell everybody what the truth is here, okay? Why can't you guys believe me? Kay, honey, maybe everyone would take you more seriously if you let me look you over. It'll only take a minute. Spoiled brat. Almost succeeded in destroying my life.
Kay isn't doing anything but telling the truth. You want to be angry with someone, why don't you take a look in the mirror?
Whose side are you on, David?
You know that, Ivy. All your manipulations and lies are finally catching up to you. God knows how indecent people you've blackmailed.
Please, spare me your pitiful attempt at a conscience.
You know, the only consolation I'll have when I lose the respect of my son is the knowledge that you're going to get what's coming to you.
I don't know what the future's gonna hold. Okay, and Beth, I really don't want to make any promises to you that I can't keep.
I don't understand.
Look, what I'm trying to say is that, you know, if something happens to your mother and she doesn't make a full recovery, if you need help, I'm here for you, okay?
How do you mean?
Beth, I'll move into your house with you if that'll help. Look, whatever happens with your mother, I just want you to know that I will be there for you financially and emotionally to help you get back on your feet. I mean, Beth, you never abandoned me, and I'm never going to abandon you. I just want you to know I'm here for you, okay?
Thank you, Louise. Thank you.
There's no place else for me to go.
I feel guilty for even having thoughts like this.
Sheridan, don't put that burden on yourself. I know you very well. I've known you since you were a little girl.
I don't know what I would have done without you after my mother died.
You would have turned into the same wonderful person I know you are. You will remain loyal to Antonio because you will not be able to break the vow that you made to him at your wedding in front of God, family, and friends. You would have never agreed to give him this drug if you didn't feel in your heart that you could remain faithful to Antonio.
How can you be so sure?
Because being true to yourself and your moral convictions means being true to Antonio.
Well, if you're not going to give me my powers back, then at least tell me who you're sending to assist me.
We've told you quite enough already. Just look after yourself. We wouldn't want anything to happen to that little one you're carrying.
Oh, I almost forgot about all that. Losing my head to that pervert Julian Crane. I wonder what it'll be. Boy or a girl?
Who said it was going to be either?
What's that supposed to mean? After all I've done for the dark side.
Look, it'll all work out, John. You know? You'll see.
What do you think, Charity? What was that?
Oh, that's Tabitha's pipes. They're just really rusty and they always clang and bang. Well, except for the cut on her head, Kay appears to be fine. Though I would like you to come by the hospital tomorrow so I can examine you and the baby more thoroughly.
So then you're not convinced that she's all right?
No, Grace, it's just a precaution.
Oh, I don't know what I'd do without you. Especially with Kay being pregnant and the two of us are at such odds.
Oh, I'm sure that won't last forever.
Well, it's just nice knowing that you're her doctor and she won't talk to me.
I appreciate your confidence, Grace, but you know, there are plenty of other skilled OBGYNs at the hospital to take care of Kay. You know, in case I wasn't available for some reason.
Not available? You going on some kind of vacation or something?
No, just in case of emergency.
Eve, you all right?
Yeah.
You seem a little shaky. I hope it's not because of Kay's story making you out to be David and Ivy's accomplice.
It's not a story, Dad.
I'm just talking about the part that involved Eve. I'm sorry Ivy tried to involve you in this.
You know what? I'm not. Because it proved that Kay's accusations about David can't be true. Because everyone knows that Eve would not have tampered John's test results.
Well, couldn't it have been someone else? Like Ivy, maybe?
Sam! I can't believe you would accuse me of something so underhanded.
I'm still not convinced David was ever married to Grace. Well, I'm sorry, John. You were Grace's son.
So you're saying that you don't trust Eve?
No, I do trust Eve. I'm just saying there's got to be some other explanation.
It's late. I better be getting home.
Of course. Look, give our apologies to TC for keeping you out so late, all right?
Don't worry about it.
Rushing home to make sure TC isn't shacking up with the house guest.
Not that it's any of your business, Ivy, but I'm going home to tell TC the truth about my past.
Really?
Yes, really, Ivy. So you're not going to be able to hold a gun to my head anymore. Ever again. See, it's over. For you, for me, for David, we're all finished. Because of you and all your machinations. I hope you're satisfied with the amount of lives that you've ruined. Because this isn't going to blow over till the whole truth is out.
Well, go ahead and shoot yourself in the foot. Tell TC all about your tawdry early life. Not as if he isn't already otherwise engaged when you get home.
That's just another reason to tell TC the truth. Once I've confessed everything to him, and Liz won't have anything to hold over my head either.
Come to bed, my darling.
Eve?
Make love to me, TC.
Even now, she loves John more than she loves me.
Let it go for now, okay?
Dad, how can I let it go? My own mother won't believe me when I'm telling the truth.
Well, I wouldn't take it personally, Kay. It's just hard to buy what you're saying when the DNA tests prove otherwise.
You think I'm going to back down on this, Mrs. Crane? Well, I'm not. See, I'm not afraid of you. And I'll tell you right now, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to make sure you don't hurt my father.
Oh. What about your mother?
Well, it's obvious she doesn't care about me, so why should I give a damn about her?
Kay.
Kay, what do I have to do to prove to you that I love you?
You know what? Start by answering the question that Dad asked you earlier.
I don't remember exactly.
He asked you if maybe you were having a hard time believing me because it's just too hard for you to swallow I may be actually telling the truth.
No, I know that John is my son.
I don't think this is about John. Maybe you're just upset that David's a fake because you'd rather be married to him than to Dad.
That is a terrible thing to say.
Well, it's music to my ears.
You are my passion for life.
And you don't have to make me any promises. Okay, we'll just take things as they come, one day at a time.
You've been through so much uncertainty already.
That's been my choice, Luis. Everything has been out of my feelings for you.
Well, that's exactly what I mean.
I love you. I always have, and I always will. These past few weeks have proven to me that no matter what life throws in our path, my love for you is strong enough to deal with it. No matter what happens, I'll be there for you.
And I'm going to be here for you, too. You can count on it.
Thank you for being so encouraging.
You do not give yourself enough credit. You are as courageous and as strong as anyone I've ever met, Sheridan.
I want to be.
Listen, you would have found that strength within yourself, even if I were not there. I have learned that the good Lord may test us, but he never gives us more than we can bear.
I hope you're right. You know, I probably shouldn't admit this, but sometimes I think about all that's happened to me and Luis, and I just wonder if God's even watching. It's as if something other than goodness is at work in our lives.
How do you mean?
For as long as he and I have known each other, something has always managed to come between us just as we're about to find happiness. Like when the boat exploded off of Bermuda, which caused my amnesia and separated us for what looks like forever. As well as many other things. It's as if something other than goodness, something evil, is working overtime trying to keep us apart.
I just
don't know what to do, you know? I kind of feel like my whole family's always at war.
Oh, poor dear. Must be very troubling for you.
I'd give anything to stop it. I just don't know how.
No, nor do I, dear. I think the best thing is probably to just let it play out. As long as you don't divulge any of my secrets, you can say whatever you like.
All I know is that the Cranes have more than enough money to fake a stupid test at the hospital or hire someone to come into town and play like he's Mom's husband.
That's quite a stretch, don't you think? I mean, please, I would never go to such lengths.
You've been awfully quiet throughout all this, David. And frankly, you look guilty as hell.
Sam.
I can see it in his eyes. Just like I saw the truth in Kay's eyes. Come on, admit it. Tell everyone here. You were never married to Grace, were you? Huh? Admit it!
Leave him alone. Kay, I am begging you. You can stop all this right now simply by telling the truth.
I am telling the truth, John. Your father and Mrs. Crane are trying to break apart my parents' marriage, and I know that. Just like I know Tabitha's a witch. That's right. I saw her levitating right here in this very room, and she had butterflies coming out of her ears.
Make love to me, TC. Why are you sleeping on the floor?
That's a good question. Oh, I love you, Eve.
How dare that Ivy suggest that TC would ever leave me for Liz? If I know anything about my husband, I know that he'd never be unfaithful. That's strange. TC never locks the door.
Oh, he must have made a mistake. I know there's a key around here somewhere.
Kay, honey, what are you talking about?
I saw David and Ivy in cahoots just as clearly as I saw Tabitha practicing witchcraft.
Sure you did, Kay.
Okay. I know what I saw. And there was a book she was reading too. It was right there on the floor. It had the word witch in the title.
Where? Where's the book?
She must have taken it with her into the kitchen when she went.
Yes, of course she did. Yes, Tabitha's a witch, and David and I are plotting an evil scheme to break up your parents' marriage. I think Kay must have really hit her head.
Don't look at me like that, all right? I know what I saw. Tabitha's a witch. It's true. Tabitha, tell them I caught you red-handed.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I was flying around my house on a broom.
No. She was kind of floating in midair, like spinning like a top, and there were butterflies.
Yes, that's exactly what I was doing, spinning like a top.
Tabitha, I saw it from right outside that window.
Oh, okay, yes, we all believe you. David and I are monsters trying to break up your parents' marriage, and your next-door neighbor practices black magic when she's not baking cookies.
Okay, stop it. Both of you. I am telling the truth.
You're the best. You know that?
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm just a woman in love with a caring, sensitive man.
I'm gonna get us some coffee, all right?
Okay.
I'll be right back.
fear for me. I knew I wouldn't lose him if I played my cards right. And you, I am putting you on notice. You make one move to try to come between me and Luis, and I won't botch the job next time. I will finish your miserable life off for good. Oh, Mother, please get better soon.
Would you like one?
No, thanks. Not right now. I think I'll go to the chapel and pray for both my sons. You'll stay with Antonio the night?
Yes. I'm his wife. I want to be by his side.
Well, he's in good hands. God bless you, my daughter-in-law.
She has more faith in me than I have in myself. How am I going to bear to be apart from Luis? How am I going to fight this temptation to be with him when he's always so near?
I'll tell TC about my past before he finds out about it another way. Because if Ivy doesn't tell him, it's inevitable that Liz will. And beating them to the punch is my only way of salvaging things with TC. But I just hope he loves me enough to understand.
Julian has agreed to pay my secret informant for the information he dug up on Teresa.
What were you doing kissing Liz?
Whitney thinks that it's okay to stab me in the back. We'll see how she feels when I return the favor.